If you have looked at Zillow recently, you probably need a stiff drink. It is brutal out there. The national median home price is hovering over $400,000, and for a lot of us, that number might as well be $1 billion. It feels like the American dream got put behind a paywall. But that's the national average, and averages are kinda stupid. They're skewed by tech bros buying $3 million lofts in San Francisco and hedge funds buying up entire neighborhoods in Florida. There is a whole other side of America, the B side, if you will, where you can still buy a house for the price of a used Honda Civic. But before we start, I have to be the bearer of bad news. Cheap houses are like cheap sushi. Sometimes you find a hidden gem, and sometimes you wake up with a lot of regret and a stomachache. Every single town on this list has a catch. It might be snow, it might be crime, or it might be a property tax bill that makes you want to cry. So we aren't just looking at the price tag. We are going to roast these towns a little bit, with love, of course, so you know exactly what you're signing up for. Let's get into it. Number 15 is Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are starting with the most expensive city on our cheap list, with a median price sitting right around $225,000. Now, Fort Wayne is a solid mid-sized city, with a total population of roughly 270,000 people. The economy here is surprisingly stable, with a median household income hovering around $60,000, which goes a long way in the Midwest. If you move here, you're looking at neighborhoods like Northside or near the new Electric Works campus, which is this massive, cool redevelopment of an old General Electric plant. It's actually very hip. So what's the catch? Honestly, boredom. I'm sorry, Indiana, but if your idea of a wild Friday night is hitting up Applebee's or walking around the mall, you'll love it. It's quiet. It is very, very quiet. But for $225,000, quiet might be exactly what you want. Plus, the tax situation is incredible. Indiana caps property taxes at 1% of the home's value. That means on a $225,000 house, you're only paying about $2,200 a year in taxes, which is a huge deal compared to some other places we're about to see. Number 14 is McAllen, Texas. We're heading way south to the border. Median price here drops to about $210,000. Now, McAllen is booming. It is one of the fastest growing cities in America, with a population of about 145,000 people. The median household income is around $55,000, which is decent considering the low cost of living. You have massive retail centers, people coming over from Mexico to shop, and this master-planned community vibe in places like Tres Lagos. You can get a brand new, beautiful brick house here. But here is the Texas trap. You need to listen to this part. Texas has no state income tax, which sounds great. Yay, more money in my paycheck. But the state has to make money somehow, right? So they hammer you on property taxes. In McAllen, you're looking at a tax rate over 2.3%. So you buy a $200,000 house and you think you scored a deal, but then the county hits you with a $4,600 tax bill every single year forever. Also, it is hot, like melt your dashboard hot. If you can't handle 100-degree weather for months on end, do not move here. Number 13 is Brownsville, Texas. Just down the road from McAllen, we have Brownsville. Median price is dipping under $200,000, around $195,000. Now, Brownsville is actually larger than McAllen, with a population of roughly 190,000, but it is statistically poorer, with a median household income sitting around $49,000. Brownsville used to be a sleepy border town, but now it has a new neighbor, Elon Musk. SpaceX is building rockets literally right down the road at Boca Chica. This has caused a bit of a gold rush. Real estate prices are ticking up because engineers and tech workers are moving in. If you buy here, you're gambling that this SpaceX boom is going to keep going. The downside? The infrastructure is struggling to keep up with the growth. And similar to McAllen, you're paying that painful 2.3% property tax rate. And again, that Texas heat is no joke. You're also right on the Gulf Coast, which means hurricane risk. So you're saving money on the mortgage, but you're probably spending it on flood insurance. Number 12 is Harlingen, Texas. Okay, last one in Texas, I promise. Harlingen is right in the middle of the Rio Grande Valley. Median price, $185,000. This is a smaller community with a population of about 72,000 people and a median household income of roughly $52,000. This place is basically a retirement haven for people who can't afford Florida. That's the brand. Harlingen, like Florida, but cheaper and with better tacos. It has a very low cost of living. You can buy a nice ranch-style home, plant some palm trees, and chill. But the economy here is not exactly dynamic. Unless you work in healthcare or education, high-paying jobs are scarce. You're still dealing with Texas property taxes around 2.0%, which eats into your savings. It's a great place to retire or work remotely, but if you're trying to build a corporate career, you might struggle here. Number 11 is Erie, Pennsylvania. We're leaving the heat and heading to the Great Lakes. Median price, $175,000. Erie is actually kind of beautiful in July. You have Presque Isle State Park, which has sandy beaches. Yes, beaches in Pennsylvania. It feels like a coastal town in the summer. But then November comes. Listen, Erie is a snow factory. They don't just get snow, they get buried in your house snow. It's not uncommon for them to get over 100 inches a season. You also have to watch the taxes. Pennsylvania taxes can be tricky, and in Erie, they hover around 2.4%. If you're buying here, look for homes that have newer roofs and good insulation. The housing stock is older, and a drafty house in an Erie winter will bankrupt you in heating bills. But for $175K, you can get a really solid historic home with character. Number 10, Wichita Falls, Texas. Okay, one more Texas town, but this is North Texas, near Oklahoma. Median price, $175,000. This is Friday Night Lights country. It has a population of 102,000 people and a solid median household income of $55,000, largely anchored by Shepherd Air Force Base. Because of the military base, the rental market is really strong. So if you're an investor, pay attention to this one. The property tax rate is standard for Texas, around 2.2%. But it is in Tornado Alley, and it gets incredibly dry and hot. We're talking drought conditions. So your foundation might crack because the ground gets so dry, and then a tornado might try to take your roof off. But hey, the house was cheap. Number 9 is Syracuse, New York. Median price drops to $170,000. Now, Syracuse is a legit college town with a population of 146,000 people, and the median household income is around $45,000, which is on the lower side for New York State. You have the university, you have the Carrier Dome, you have a really cool downtown vibe with festivals and good food. It feels bigger than it is. But we have to talk about the taxes. New York property taxes are legendary for being terrible. You're looking at an effective tax rate of nearly 3.0%. You might find a house for $160,000, which seems like a steal, but your taxes could be $5,000 or $6,000 a year. That monthly payment creeps up fast. And if you thought Erie was snowy, Syracuse wins the Golden Snowball Award almost every year. You need to budget for a snowblower, not a shovel, a snowblower. Do not try to shovel a Syracuse driveway by hand. You will die. Number 8 is Akron, Ohio. Welcome to the Rust Belt. This is where the prices really start to drop. Median price, $160,000. Akron is the rubber capital of the world. Goodyear is still headquartered here. But more importantly, it's the hometown of LeBron James. You can literally drive down King James Way. Akron has some really charming neighborhoods, like Highland Square, which is walkable and artsy. You also have the Cuyahoga Valley National Park right next door, which is gorgeous. Property taxes here are reasonable, sitting around 2.8%. The downside? It's an old industrial city. Some neighborhoods are struggling with blight and vacancy, and since the houses are mostly 80 to 100 years old, you're going to be playing that "what's that noise" with your plumbing and electrical systems. But for $160K, you can get a really solid historic home with character. Number 7 is Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Electric City. Median price, $155,000. Yes, insert your office jokes here. Okay, got them out of your system? Good. Scranton is actually experiencing a bit of a renaissance. It's only 2 hours from New York City and Philadelphia, so people are moving here and commuting or working remotely. It has a cool, gritty, historic charm. But the taxes. Pennsylvania has this thing called local wage tax on top of high property taxes. And Scranton specifically, the effective tax rate is notoriously high, sometimes pushing 3.5 to 4%, depending on the exact spot. Also, the roads.
Locals joke that dodging potholes is a competitive sport in Scranton. Your car's suspension will hate you. But for $65K, you can get a really solid historic home with character.
Number 6 is Memphis, Tennessee. We are dipping to $145,000. Memphis is a major city with a population of 621,000 and a median household income of around $48,000. Memphis is the culture capital of this list. You have Beale Street, the blues, Elvis, and barbecue that will make you slap your grandmother. It is a city with a soul. Economically, it's a logistics powerhouse because of FedEx. There are jobs here. Here is the good news. Tennessee has no state income tax, and property taxes are low, around 1.3%. The bad news? Safety. Memphis consistently ranks in the top 5 for violent crime in the U.S. It is very street by street. You can have a beautiful, safe street, and 2 blocks over, it's a different world. If you buy here, you need to drive the neighborhood at night. Don't just look at photos online. Number 5 is Cleveland, Ohio. We are getting close to the bottom now. Median price, $115,000. This is a big city with a population of 362,000, though the median household income is lower at roughly $37,000. This is my pick for the best bang for your buck on the entire list. For $115,000, you're getting access to 3 Major League sports teams, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the best hospitals on earth. Property taxes are manageable at around 2.4%. You can buy a house in a neighborhood like Cam's Corners or Old Brooklyn for a fraction of what you'd pay in a coastal city. The catch? It's the gray. The sun disappears in November and doesn't come back until May. It is gray, cloudy, and cold for 6 months straight. Seasonal depression is a real thing here. If you need sunshine to function, Cleveland will break you. Number 4 is Toledo, Ohio. Staying in Ohio. Median price, also right around $115,000. Toledo has a population of 266,000 and a median household income of $45,000. Toledo is known as the Glass City. It's right on Lake Erie, about an hour south of Detroit. It's got a great metro park system, really underrated parks. You can find big colonial-style homes in the Old West End neighborhood. These are Victorian mansions that would cost $2 million in San Francisco, selling for $150,000 here. Property taxes are decent at around 2.4%. But they cost a fortune to heat, and Toledo's economy is still very manufacturing heavy. If the auto industry catches a cold, Toledo gets the flu. It's a blue-collar town through and through. Number 3 is Decatur, Illinois. We're almost at the end. Median price, $105,000. Decatur is a smaller manufacturing hub with a population of roughly 69,000 and a median household income of $46,000. It's dominated by massive factories like ADM and Caterpillar. You can buy a nice bungalow here for $80,000. It is incredibly cheap. But Illinois property taxes are generally high, often exceeding 2.1%. But we have to talk about the smell. Decatur has a very distinct aroma because of the soybean and corn processing plants. Depending on which way the wind is blowing, the whole town can smell like cooked vegetables or sometimes something worse. Locals are used to it, but visitors usually go, "What is that?" Also, Illinois is losing population fast, so home values don't appreciate much. You're buying a place to live, not an investment that's going to double in value. And number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Median price, roughly $75,000 to $85,000. Detroit is the wild card. It's the biggest city on our list with a population of 633,000, but the median household income is roughly $39,000. You can go on Zillow right now and find a house for $10,000. But do not, I repeat, do not buy a $10,000 house unless you're a contractor with unlimited patience. Those houses have been stripped of copper piping and might be missing a roof. But for $85,000 to $100,000, you can get a renovated home in a decent spot like the University District or Bagley. Detroit has an incredible energy right now. It feels like a city on the rise. But you have to factor in the Detroit premium. Property taxes are effectively around 3%, and car insurance is the highest in the nation. Your mortgage might be $600, but your insurance and taxes could be another $600, so the sticker price is a bit of a lie. And finally, number 1, Youngstown, Ohio, the cheapest housing market in the United States. Median home price between $65,000 and $85,000. Youngstown has a population of roughly 60,000, and the median household income is the lowest on our list, at about $32,000. There are listings here for $30,000 that are actually habitable. Youngstown was the poster child for the collapse of the steel industry. For a long time, it was a rough place, but it's trying to pivot. They have a great incubator for tech startups, and the downtown is slowly coming back to life. Neighborhoods like Brownlee Woods are actually very cute and safe. Plus, property taxes are very low, at around 1.4%. But the reality is the poverty rate is high. If you move here, you probably need to bring your own job, like remote work, because the local job market is tough. But if you work from home and you want to live mortgage-free in 3 years, Youngstown is literally the only place left where you can do that. So there you have it, 15 towns where the American dream is still on sale. But remember, you are trading money for something else. You're trading cash for cold weather, or for high taxes, or for a neighborhood that's a little rough around the edges. I say, don't just look at the price. Go visit, walk the streets, eat the food, smell the air, especially in Decatur. Because a house is only a good deal if you actually like living in it. Which one of these would you actually consider? Are you brave enough for the Erie snow or the Detroit taxes? Let me know in the comments below. And if I saved you from moving to a town you'd hate, hit that like button. I'll see you in the next one.